So in this video, we're going to learn about all the letters that we have been writing in class that have C starts. So we talk about magic C a lot in the classroom. And we call it magic C because it magically turns into other letters. If we know how to make a C, there's lots and lots of letters that we can make. Now, the one thing we have to remember every time we're writing a letter is that we always have to start at the top, not the bottom of the letter. Now, sometimes the top of the letter where we start becomes the middle of a letter, and that's all right. But we never ever start a letter at the bottom. So, let's start with magic C. When we start with magic C, we start at the top and we say around and open. Leave it open like a little mouth. So we start at the top again, around, open. And we'll stop at the bottom. Leave a hole. You want to avoid things like this. We don't want it to get that close, so we're trying to keep that mouth wide open like this. Okay, so if we know C, then it's very natural for a child to be able to go straight into an O. So we say C start and close. Notice that they're not starting at the bottom. We have a lot of children when they come in, they write O's, they're starting them like this, and you can tell where they start them. I keep telling them it's not correct. It must start at the top. All letters must start at the top. So again, when we make an O, it's C start, close. Now, if we know how to do this, it's very easy to go into A, and a letter A. We know A is C start. Now, instead of going straight up, around and making an O, we want to go up, straight up, touch, and trace it back down. Now, I tell my kids to be very careful that when they do this, they do not start a C start, go up, and then just down. Because if they do, we need to tell them, oh, look, there's a big hole right there. Somebody could come along and throw trash in there, and your A will be stinking. So we don't want any stinky holes in our A. We make C start, up, trace it down, and stop. Avoid things like little wagging tails hanging off of our A's. We don't do that when we're printing. There will be a time when all these strokes become very important. The sequence of how you make these letters are going to flow right in when your child begins to learn to do cursive. But right now, this is how we need to stop it, right at the bottom. Okay, so this is the A. And then that leads us straight into a D. There's another letter that Magic C helps us with. Magic C. This time, we're going to go up. And I tell my kids, instead of going up just like the letter A, we're going to go up like a helicopter, way up in the sky, and we're going to fall straight back down. Again, no stinky holes. No, do not go up and have a big stinky hole here. Now, A and D are both notorious for kids wanting to do an O. They want to make an O, and then they want to go and stick on the side of it. And I tell them, there's no roundness. It's not round all the way around in an A or a D. It has to be flat on the side. It's like a flat tire. It has to be flat. It can't be round all the way around. You also want to avoid things like trying to do this. Come up in the air and stop. And I tell them, well, that's great if we're going to be making music. That's a really nice half note. But we don't do that when we're writing D's. D's have to go up, and they have to fall straight back down. Again, that's getting them ready for when they're beginning cursive to go straight into that next stroke mark. So it's really important they begin those habits now. It'll save them a lot in the future, I promise. So the letter G is another one that we can do with the C stroke. We start magic C, and then we go up and touch. Then we trace it, and this time we go down a long stick down. Remember on this one, we were helicoptering long stick up. Now we're long stick down, add a hook. Now, G is another one that we have to be really careful that when we go, we're not going around in a circle and trying to add and getting this kind of look to our G with the big stinky hole there. And it's round all the way around. We want it flat on one side. So Magic C, up, trace it down, and a hook. Be careful that your children are not starting it at the bottom and going around and trying to do this number. That won't work. And you can see that when you're going into cursive writing, if they're starting it down here at the bottom and trying to go around, that's going to be impossible for them to come out of another letter where they're supposed to be going up and around. So, in order for this to become very fluent for them later, we develop those skills right now. So, that's the letter G. And the last one that we use with the magic C is the letter Q. Now, we haven't gotten to Q yet in our classroom, but we will. So, let's go ahead and cover that. So, that one's the magic C. Start, up and down. Notice it's just like the G, except now the little curve goes in the back. I usually tell him, give him a little tail. So he's going on the back there, and it's not a hook. Again, be careful to avoid going all the way around and doing that number. That won't work. Another letter that we use sort of when we're talking about magic C is we can talk about the letter S. Most of the time I tell my children, make a little magic C, a small magic C. Stop. Don't pick up your pencil. Now give him a belly. And if he curves around the back way, then you have the S. And then they're not making it backwards. If they learn that C, and then turn it back. Now here's a really handy trick to keep them from making these C's backwards. Now if your child's left-handed, this will not work for them. But if they are right-handed, if you will have them, tell them if they're making a C, they have a model with their other hand. All they have to do is make the C with their hand they're not writing with. Now they can see which way it goes. It goes this way. They can check it. When I get finished, I can look and see. Did I make my C correctly? Did I start the right way? Am I making a C, turning it into a D? Is that a C, D? Or am I making a B? Am I going the wrong way? If they're going this way and they go up and down, they're making a B. An incorrect B, but nonetheless, it's going the wrong way. So your hand is also a really good double check for you to make sure that you're going the right way. If you start it the right way, your D will be correct. It's a little hard to start it the right way and go all the way around and then go up and down. Okay, so these are our letters that we use for Magic C. C, O, A, D, G, Q, and S.